Welcome, everyone. My name is Angela Nguyen, and I'm the Director of Operations and a legal advocate for TAPS Together Against Poverty Society in Nanaimo. We are collaborating with Vancouver Island University Student Union for this presentation. I will go through common challenges you might experience when you've just begun your tenancy. Hopefully, this presentation will help you understand your rights as a tenant. The goal is to make sure you feel informed and confident in your new tenancy. This presentation is signed a lease. Now what? For those who may not be familiar with TAPS, we're a nonprofit organization that has been providing poverty law services in Victoria since 1989. We expanded to Nanaimo in the central Vancouver Island region in 2023. We are one of the largest providers of free face-to-face legal advocacy for people dealing with income assistance, disability benefits, and tenancy issues on Vancouver Island. Our advocates are trained and supervised by experienced poverty law lawyers, and we focus on right-based legal education and representation. Before we get started, it's important to note that this presentation is for general educational purposes only. It's not intended as legal advice for your specific situation. Our advocates are not lawyers. Although we can give general information and general legal information, our advice is only with the guidance of supervising lawyers. The information we're sharing is accurate as of August 18th, 2025, but legislation and policies can change, so it's always a good idea to double check with the residential tenancy branch. There will be resources listed at the end of our presentation. Every tenancy agreement is different. What's true for one tenant might not be the same for another. One of the most important parts of starting your tenancy is making sure you understand your tenancy agreement. If you missed our last video, we go into detail about tenancy agreements and what to look out for. In this presentation, we'll focus on making sure you have the next steps covered. Following a move-in checklist can help you through that process. You can scan the QR code to the VIUSU website for more direct links to housing resources. Condition inspections are a critical part of protecting yourself as a tenant. They happen at both the start and the end of your tenancy. The landlord must offer you at least 2 opportunities to attend a condition inspection. If you can't make it, you can send someone on your behalf. Make sure to schedule inspections for when the unit is empty so that you'll be able to see the complete condition of the unit better. During the inspection, your landlord must complete a written inspection report and both of you must sign it. The landlord has 7 days after you move in to give you a copy for the start of your tenancy and 15 days to provide a copy of your report after you've moved out. If you get a pet after you've already started your tenancy, another inspection should be done and a pet deposit may be collected by the landlord at that point. Here is an example of the condition inspection report found on the official RTB website. Note the different condition types that can be used to describe the condition of each item and add comments if there are notable damages or stains. Of course, older rental units may have more condition comments, but even if you are moving into a brand new rental unit, it's still important to go through the condition inspection report carefully. During the inspection, check that all appliances work. Look for any signs of water damage or mold. Check the condition of the floors and carpet. If there are cracks on windows or glass. If your rental unit comes with furnished items, ensure you note the condition of the furniture during your condition report. Document as much as you can. Take photos or a video walkthrough at both move-in and move-out so you have clear proof of the unit's condition. At the end of your tenancy, note normal wear and tear like small paint scuffs or minor floor scratches and compare it to the expected lifespan of the item, which is explained more in the RTB Policy Guideline 40 on useful life. If you want your security deposit back, follow all inspection rules and leave the unit in the same condition it was in when you moved in, aside from normal wear and tear. Clean thoroughly, return your keys, and make sure all your belongings are removed. Keep communication with your landlord in writing so there's a record. Check out the resources at the end of the presentation for detailed step-by-step guidelines. At the end of a tenancy, a tenant can request their security and/or pet deposit back by providing their forwarding address to their landlord in writing once they've completed the condition report when moving out. After receiving a tenant's forwarding address, a landlord has 15 days to return it or get the tenant's written permission to keep some or all of the deposit, or they can make a claim at the RTB for a direct order to keep some or all of the deposit. A tenant can apply for dispute resolution through the RTB when a landlord does not do one of these three things within 15 days. The landlord may be ordered to pay the deposit up to double their security deposit amount if they do not respond to the RTB accordingly. If either you or the landlord do not follow the proper RTB procedures on the return of a deposit after an inspection, you may lose the right to have the deposit returned, or the landlord may lose their claim on the deposit. Unless you've agreed to something different in writing with your landlord, tenancies require you to return your keys and have all your belongings out by 1 p.m. on the last day of your tenancy. Let's go over some of the most common questions and scenarios between a tenant and a landlord. We'll talk about landlord entry to the unit, quiet enjoyment, loss of services, repair responsibilities, rent obligations, rent increases, and how to end a tenancy. Another disclosure: every tenancy situation is different. These are examples of common situations with corresponding general or legal information that may apply to that specific situation. This is not legal advice, and your tenancy situation may be more complicated. You may need to refer to housing resources found at the end of this presentation. How to ask your landlord for repairs or maintenance. If something breaks or needs fixing, tell your landlord right away, in writing. Keep copies of your requests and any replies. This paper trail will help if a dispute is needed later on. Don't wait until the damage gets worse. Timely communication protects you and the landlord's property. If the damages get worse without you notifying the landlord, you may be responsible for repair costs. For example, if a landlord won't fix your window, landlords must keep rental properties in good repair and meet health and safety standards. Tenants must report problems right away and take responsible steps to prevent further damage, like temporarily covering a broken window to keep the rain out. Unless it's an emergency, don't attempt repairs yourself without permission. This can create liability issues. Can my landlord enter without permission? A landlord can only enter your rental unit in certain situations. They need to give you at least 24 hours written notice with a reason for entry, and it must be between the hours of 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. There are exceptions, like emergencies, if the unit has been abandoned, or if they provide housekeeping as part of your rental agreement. Your landlord can also enter your unit if you or another tenant gives them permission. Then they can enter without any written notice. My landlord sings to her cat every night at 3 a.m. and wakes me up. A tenant is entitled to quiet enjoyment. Quiet enjoyment means more than just noise levels. It's your right to reasonable privacy, freedom from unreasonable disturbance, and full use of common areas without interference. If your landlord's actions, like blasting music at 3 a.m., violate this right, you can make a claim for an order that the landlord must comply according to the Residential Tenancy Act. Can my landlord take away my cable? A landlord cannot stop providing a service or facility if it is an essential to the suite as a living accommodation. For non-essential services, like cable, a landlord can stop providing them, but only with 30 days written notice and a rent reduction equal to the value of that service. If a landlord tries to remove a service without following these rules, get legal advice right away. Essential services like heat, water, and electricity cannot be removed. If my landlord doesn't follow our tenancy agreement, do I still have to pay rent? Absolutely. Rent must be paid on time unless you have written authorization from the residential tenancy branch to deduct costs. You must pay your landlord rent when it is due. For costs that you want reimbursement for, like an emergency repair for a broken exterior door lock, you must have notified the landlord at least twice, wait a reasonable amount of time, then you can arrange the repairs and request reimbursement. If they don't reimburse you, you can deduct the cost from the rent, but only if you followed the proper process. Keep all receipts and invoices. How much can my landlord raise the rent by? Rent can be increased once every 12 months up to the annual allowable percentage. In 2025, that's 3%. Landlords must give 3 months notice and use the official RTB Form 7 with filled-in information on how much rent is currently, how much it will increase, and the effective date. Between tenancies, there's no limit. For example, if a tenant moves out with a rent at $1,000, a landlord can raise the rent to $2,000 for the next tenant. A landlord can set rent prices to any amount when signing a new lease. How do I end my tenancy? If you're on a month-to-month tenancy, you must give written notice at least 1 full month in advance. For example, if you want to move out on May 31st, you must give notice by April 30th. Ending a fixed-term lease early can mean paying costs outlined in your agreement, like liquidated damages. If possible, try to negotiate a mutual end of tenancy with your landlord using RTB Form 8, which sets out a move-out date everyone agrees on. As I've said throughout this presentation, every tenancy situation is different and it is important to do more research and understand your own tenancy. Get up-to-date information from the residential tenancy branch with policy guidelines and other resources. You can also reach out to other advocates like the Tenant Resource and Advisory Center, TRAC, or another advocate in your jurisdiction. Scan the QR code to link directly to the VIUSU Housing Resources website or connect with the VIU External Housing Representative. This brings us to the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you were able to feel more confident on renting in BC. Please continue to educate yourselves on your rights and responsibilities as a tenant.